All right, I see. Test. Mike's jumping. That's good. Last time I was streaming for like the first 10 minutes of the meeting, and I was up front doing the talks, and people are online like, we can't hear you. I forgot to enable the mic. Like the simplest of things. That was the other thing I forgot to do is turn on my own internet to get a better upload speed. So you brought it home already?
No. I'm gonna go pay for it.
Okay.
You gotta put the tires back on the trailer.
Well, those are good things to have. Dave, did you sell my trailer? I have the title for it. I came across it, I'm like, oh, I never gave Dave the title. Probably handy for him.
Yeah, and then with the weird day and everything, I gotta make a dip up.
Got a what?
I do the
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the dip.
I gotta do that. I
Oh,
fish today.
hey. That changes everything. I could be there now. We're not going to Door County this weekend. Suzanne's still not feeling good. Her mom's going to come down and visit. So now I can come on this weekend and help out probably. All right, someone jumped online. If you can just put a comment in to let me know that you hear me, that'll let me know that we're good. We'll be starting soon.
I see you make the trip, but you didn't come out of the boat. No, I came back and bought out here. I had a good time, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good. Yep. Not what you wanted or what? Well, first off, I got the one that I've been looking at all along.
Again, if somebody could just put a comment in confirming that you can hear me. Want to make sure the mic is working. Test. Hello, can people hear me? All right.
All right, we're good.
Evening, everybody. Welcome to the October Salmon Unlimited Wisconsin Club meeting. Are we still winning 4-3? Oh, we're losing? Oh, crap, I misread. No, I'm a Sox fan. So just like being a Bears fan, I'm harmless. What's that? Oh, yeah, that's exactly. Let's get moving though, just in case something does happen interesting. Start out with a moment of sunshine. I was out in Mount Pleasant at a garage sale that I visited last year, almost the same time. And this year, noted to the lady who was running it, there was a lot of fishing and garage gear there. I said, "What did he do?" Just joking. And she goes, "He passed away." It was Steve Minosa. He was part of the family that owned Central Saw and Mower. Was also a club member in the past, but came to find out Steve passed away. Mary Lee is not here, but Mary Lee helped connect us to Anno Whitmer, who is his dad is the chaplain for the Franklin Fire Department, and he loved to fish. One of his dying wishes was to just get out and do a little bit of fishing. They were able to get out a couple times with our help before he passed, but Anno did pass away as well. And then Dan McCoots from Superfly also passed recently. And then in the bottom section, Rich Matthews Sr. had a tumble, but he's still kicking. So he's just healing up. But Rich put a post out about that, so keep his family in mind. And at our last meeting, Monty Osterman was here as a guest. Monty's family has suffered a passing as well, one of his sons. So tough month for our SU family. Just please keep them in mind, and if there's anything you can do for those individuals, their families, let them know. On a more positive side of that, Bob, you've got something to hawk out in support of one of the groups that we help.
Oh, yeah. Red has their primary dinner coming up on November 15th. It's prime rib, chicken marsala, the basket raffles. It's really a good time, super good food. The cook is actually a cook from, used to be at Johnson's Flag, but his prime rib is delicious. So I do have tickets available. They're $30 a ticket. Like I said, it's on the 15th. Anybody interested, I will have tickets available.
You have them here with you today?
Yeah, out my truck.
Okay, cool.
Do they do a whole table, stuff like that, or is it just a,
Huh?
do they do a whole table, or are they just the individual seats? Like if you go to a turkey thing,
Oh.
you get a whole table?
I think there were some people that reserved tables, but I think they did that by getting there and setting up little, or the people who were involved with Brad.
I have my own table.
Yeah, exactly. I.e. Bob. But otherwise, yeah, you could probably, if you bought enough, I'm sure they would also set that up. But there's kind of a rotation of people coming through too. And they have a lot of raffles that were going on. So. Oh yeah.
We like raffles.
We like raffles.
Yeah, I get my own table because I have 12 people in my food.
Yeah.
A little expensive for me,
And then going along with that, for some additional good news, this was just announced today, but Racine County has officially completed the Quarry Park project, and they popped out some of the pictures. So, beach-wise, a lot of their focus obviously was on the beach versus like the fishing aspect, but beach-wise, they created better ADA access down, and they drained the lake down, dredged out the old sand and the overgrowth underneath, and then resanded the swimming beach area. And the new building, let's see, that's the old building, but there's the new one. New building with restrooms and everything. So we've been waiting for this as a club. Our youth events, trying to get something back in place for our youth, and we're looking for a volunteer to head it. This was one of the things that I wasn't pushing too hard on trying to find a volunteer, because it's kind of an ideal place for us to have it again. Now that it's back accessible to the public, we'll probably get something set up for early 2026. We are looking for a volunteer to head up the youth fishing outing event, and we are debating.
If you're interested, Mary Lee and I have been doing it for a lot of years,
Yeah.
and we would work with anybody that would, two people usually can put it all together and know what they're doing.
when is it? What's it, it's in the
It's
We
whatever
agreed it, yeah.
It's whatever we wanna do.
Yeah.
We used to do it in conjunction with the DNR,
Drop it.
but they did it on the free weekend, and we also were dealing with ice and rain, and, it was horrible.
Sounds like we lost a run.
No, it's free for us.
Oh, maybe someone struck out then.
If anybody fished the quarry and knows what a good month to get fish there, it's most important was to get these kids to be able to catch fish.
Yeah.
So anybody that's interested, contact me or Mary Lee, please.
Bass with the, in the fall, I've seen them just lining up.
Well, that's good. If you're interested, again, Jeff will help with that effort, but we need someone to spearhead it. And Jeff and Mary Lee and myself, there's a lot of people that will step up to be behind that person, but we're looking for someone to lead that because we're kind of levered on some of the people.
The only thing, the only caveat is we used to do it in the building there. We would have to decide on it when we rent the big tent to handle some of the activities. So that'd be something as a club, we gotta make a decision.
How many activities are
There's knot tying, there's,
Similar to Weird Day type stuff.
there's fishing ID,
one or
there's
two?
fly tying, boat safety,
I mean, just one weekend?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, one day.
One day,
1 day event.
1 day event,
Yep.
rain or shine.
So, if you have interest, talk to Jeff. Love to see you come back, and I'm sure our scout troop would be interested in volunteering to help out too. So we'd probably have a good army of volunteers for that. Next month is our club board member elections. Just as a reminder, right now we have nominations in as stated from our officer positions. We have 2 changes. Bob, you were looking to step down but stay active on the board, so Bob is transitioning down to be renewed as a director in the vote, and Jason Buckman has accepted a nomination for vice president. And then Mary Lee has offered to step back in the treasurer's role, allowing, I did get.
Secretary.
Secretary role. And Dale is looking to still stay on the board just as a regular board member, as a director. We are still looking for other nominations. The vote is next month, so we'd love to draw everyone here. And Jim, I saw the email today from Mary Lee, but Jim, Bob, the rest of the board, are we going to try to organize a turkey drive again?
I'm not gonna be here to man it this year.
Okay.
Because I
Yeah.
don't get back till the 14th of November.
Yeah, I can help with transport, but last year we did a turkey drive for the Veterans Outreach Center in Wisconsin that was really successful and well appreciated. Jim, how many between club donation
We did 90, but we did it online. I mean,
Yeah.
What we did through the club was a small percentage.
Yeah.
Online is where we,
Sure.
and I
But
can't man it this year.
No, but we were able to generate approximately 90 turkeys between
Yeah,
club,
96, I think. it
yeah,
was.
club donation, club member donation, online donation to get people to bring them in. Jim corralled them all last year. I can help with that this year, but VOW is looking at a protein shortage again. Always comes up that time of year. Donations get a little tight and the needs get heavier. So probably look to put an announcement out and see if our club can draw, even if we're not as successful as last year, just to bring some more in. But again, next month is the board member nominate or vote. So if there's anyone else who's interested in stepping up on the board, please reach out to one of us.
When Mick was nominated and accepted.
Was he? Oh, did I get him? I thought I got
Yep,
him right
he's
there.
on there.
And then, where do we find absentee ballots?
That is a great question. Who usually? I'll email them out to the club as a whole. Because if I don't have them, I bet I have one in a prior email, but if not, Mary Lee or someone's got them, we can blast it out.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that actually is good because I know,
And we'll probably need those returned by a date before the meeting, because you gotta verify the members.
yeah, we'll hash that out after the fact.
Okay.
Yeah,
We forgot to bring it up at the board meeting.
we did a great job of discussing making sure there was clarity on the elections for the directors because there's only 5 director spots available and 2 alternates, and we wanted to make sure that we understood how many tiebreakers were handled.
Is there anybody else interested in being on the board?
And even if you're not interested in being on the board, still get involved in other things.
Like I
What
said,
should I do for
I
election?
wanna Be on the board.
What's that?
Wasn't I?
I'll have to look at the list
I
again.
think I am.
Jeff's up, you got, I'm not up.
You're not up? Okay. So I got the wrong names up. This was copied over from last year's, and I thought I swapped all the names, but I probably left yours and then put his on. So, okay. 2 boats that I know are for sale. Jeff Hack still got his. Again, I don't know what the ask was originally what it was. Jason Baker is also putting theirs up. They're looking at getting a different boat, and I know he's got some interest already set up in his, but 2013 Mercury Verado, 300 horsepower motor on it, plus the kicker with autopilot. I think both of these have autopilot, so nice setups if anybody's looking to upgrade for next year. Mike?
Well, as you can see, we currently have 166 members, of which 42 are new members, so they were doing a fairly good job of recruiting. Your membership technically expires at the end of the calendar year. We have a 2-month grace period as far as getting renewed. So we'll probably start putting emails out asking you to go ahead and sign up for 2026 sometime in December, and we'll definitely make a push December and January. So if you know people that have been in the club before and for some reason aren't active or haven't joined for this year, talk to them, see if you can encourage them to sign up again for next year. If, again, you know people that are not in the club but enjoy fishing and think like we do, tell them about the club, tell them to get online. They can do it right there from their computer at their convenience. But looking at the attendance sheet, typically we get somewhere between 20 and 30 people showing up at our club meetings, which with 166 people is what, maybe 15%.
Yeah.
So, encourage them to come. They don't know what we're doing, what we need help in, and so forth, if they don't show up. And obviously, as the next year comes around, we're going to need help with the various activities we have, Salmon-A-Rama, fish, the kids clinic, Weird Day, all of the things that we do as a club. Get them here, get them involved. Thank you.
Joy, see unfamiliar faces back here? Yep.
Hi, I'm James.
James and Bree.
This is my fiance.
Okay.
I fed a lot, and Dominic and Dave.
Got it. Okay.
You fish, or you have a boat?
Yeah.
And
Full
name?
17 footer.
Name of it? Okay.
As long as he gets his fish.
Glad to see you.
Yeah. Are you based here in Racine area or?
Kenosha.
Kenosha? Okay, cool. Well, welcome. I think Jackpot actually might be the night about fishing reports. I don't know if anybody's been out in the last.
Yeah, I've been out.
Yeah, I know you have. You're retired.
Not even kings out there.
Yeah, we were doing pretty good from 80 foot to about 170 out of Kenosha the last probably 5-6 trips. Spoons were more dominant our last trip. Prior to that, it was flat, about 50-50, half flasher flies and the rest were spoons. And no lake trout, but we're not really fishing for them, but some real nice kings, rainbows, a couple cohos, and we did get one Atlantic, which was a really good, nice fish. So it's been really good out of Kenosha for us.
Yeah, I had a great opportunity. Reminds me of when Jason took me out when we were first getting into this. We went on that boat that he's selling and caught a couple steelhead. That was like my beginner how to do the basic stuff on fishing. When I went out, and my neighbor, we brought him out on his bass boat. He's the one who had a boat for sale last week. He sold it, but he wanted to make sure his bass boat was rigged, and he just wanted me to go through how to set up the downrigger again and the wire dip scene. We get out there and I brought ice. He's like, "Oh, you brought ice?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to catch a fish. We're not just going to demo gear." And so we were just trolling in front of the harbor in like 1.5 footers, and sure enough, we landed one. We were going to troll straight into the mouth of the river because no one was working the corners. And right before we got there, we hit a fish. He got to net it, on his own boat. He was just ear to ear grinning. So that's that magic of bringing new people into the sport. Get them hooked. Oh, Bradley, he probably sent me a message.
We were out on Sunday.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Went out of Winthrop Harbor down in Illinois, fished from State Line up to Kenosha. Went 10 for 13 in about 2.5 hours, fishing between 150 and 170, basically everything on spoons, mixed bag of all silver, steelhead, coho, and smaller kings. So they're definitely out there. If you haven't put your boat away, get out and catch a few.
I'll add one to it. We saw a lot of small bait in the fish. They were like small stinger size.
All right, Bradley, there is not a lot of updates on Jackpot at this time of year yet. At the moment, the committee is working hard, evaluating the formats and planning along with starting fundraising. He does have 2 key points to share with everyone tonight. First is he started a Super Bowl pool again this year. Format is the same as last year, 25 a square. Quarterly winners will win $225 each, while north, south, east, and west, the cross points nearest will win $50 for each. The net proceeds of it go to the 2026 Jackpot Series expenses. A side note, he also has a strip card tonight for 12 crankbaits for $10 a line. With Coho's running now, and not long later Brown's coming up, these will be working really well. Number 2, short time ago we submitted the DNR to the DNR the tournament results. He finds one thing very interesting, which is compared to the last few years' totals, this year would be the first time in Jackpot's history when the total number of king salmon caught logged are more than all other 4 species combined.
Wow.
And I'd have to agree, I never caught so many kings, I've only been 6 years in this, but were you guys experiencing the same? It was just like Chinook City?
Yeah.
So, so just quite interesting. I couldn't catch lake trout this year. Number 1, I didn't want to run that 454 out to 200 foot of water, but we caught like 3 lake trout all year long. Last, I'd like to thank the CMA team here for sharing their experience and success on the stories as our guest speaker tonight. He says for the Jackpot Series again, to be updated. So $10 a line on his raffles if any of you want to skim me up and jump in on those. Jim.
So we are slowly moving along.
I wanted to Photoshop your face into this one. I didn't get a chance.
This year we're looking at having less bands, but a little bit larger bands. Hairbaggers Ball out of Illinois will be playing on the 2nd Saturday this year, July 17th. So mark your calendar. We will be getting some better advertising out this year for the events, but we're not going to be having the full 9 days of entertainment again. We're looking at, again, a little better bands on just the weekends.
That's real.
We're kind of nonchalantly going into the year until we find out what we're going to do and what exactly we're going to put together. As of right now, we probably will be going back to Festival Hall with a weigh-in, but what we host down there and what we have down there will be dependent on the volunteers and the efforts that are put into it. It just got to be too much the last couple of years with a small group of us trying to maintain this whole event. So if you do have time and there's something you want to take on, let me know, but otherwise, we're going to be mainly doing a tournament with a little bit of a festival, but nothing like we've done the last couple of years unless we get people to step up and help with it. So as of right now, that's kind of where we stand. We'll probably start the Salmon-A-Rama meetings, I'm thinking around January, when we get a little better idea of what we're going to have for entertainment and how many volunteers are going to actually step up and do the work that needs to be done. So again, we just can't keep going at the pace we're going unless we get help.
Tournament's healthy, festival is all that's being flexed.
Yeah.
Jim, what are you selling over
We got a strip card with 16 crankbaits.
there? Okay. Time of line or?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get it on both of those as soon as I get our speakers up.
I got, I'm selling t-shirts. I have my typical maps and GPS numbers, recipes. I did find a new one of the port's northwest position from North Point Harbor all the way to Algoma Harbor. If you're interested in that one, that's a new one that I just got. If anyone might be available Friday, I'm needing some help doing salmon patties for the Weir Day at my house. If anyone would be willing to help me out during the day, I'd appreciate any help I could get.
Nels, got a finger up?
I got one then. Okay.
It's the other finger.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't clarify.
You're number 1.
Yeah. Gearhead segment again, we're at the end of the season. This is available to anybody who needs. This has been a lifesaver. If you have an outdrive and you're leaking gear oil and you can't figure out where, I built this pump up to 10 psi onto the drain port on an outdrive. You take it off and you can add pressure to it, let it sit overnight and see if you're leaking out. If so, anybody who's worked with gas pipes, mix 50-50 water and Dawn dish soap and squirt it, and it shows bubbles to let you know if you're gonna die. Same concept. You can pump this, get a little bit of pressure into it, and then spray all of the gear, the vent, the gear oil, the prop shaft, the inside of the drive where there's the double shaft for the drive shaft, and then the U-joint seals. And you can find out where your leak is and determine what you have to do to replace seals.
So is that your first 3 LDs, Dad?
I got something to add to that too. I got a alignment gauge,
Yeah.
a gimbal bearing puller, and a driver to put your gimbal bearing back in. If you
Yeah.
need it, just get hold of me
For the alphas.
for the Alphas.
And I'm going to give Jeff, I have the tool for the 2 seals for the vertical drive shaft. In the upper housing, there's the 2 seals. I have the tool to install those because now I'm running a Bravo and it's different size. So then you'll have everything to borrow out.
We were working on Dale's for you because he had an overheating problem. We thought it was the impeller, it turned out not to be the impeller. You guys with the IOs, you're overheating, you're already changing the impeller. Make sure you inspect the bottom half of that housing underneath where the impeller sits.
It's like a polycarbonate plastic.
It's called a base.
Yeah.
But we found on his that it had melted a little bit. It was allowing water to get back into the pickup area, so you didn't have full water flow.
Wasn't the impeller taller than it's supposed to be?
No,
No?
He had the right impeller.
it was that melted just a slight bit.
Yeah.
I think maybe a 32nd of an inch and about 3/4 of an inch long. Plus the gasket underneath the base that sits on top of the casing for the lower unit. Half of that was gone, so he was losing the impeller
Pressure.
pressure in 2 spots, allowing it to be recycled back through.
Yeah. But there's a seal under there too, under the impeller for the gear oil. So again, if you're leaking gear oil, now's the time to do it over the winter. Take a look and figure out where it is.
Like Dale said when Jeff came over, he said that when he changes his, he replaces the base and the housing at the same time.
I replaced the whole casing.
Yeah.
A complete kit.
When Dale bought the kit to do it, it came with that seal you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, we just never did.
On the prop shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Since we're talking water pumps, one thing we encountered towards the end of the year was a leaky seal on the shaft seal. When we changed the water pump, we used Sierra impeller. We used this on roof. And I never had an issue with Sierra pumps before. But on this bulb, it actually measures the water pressure on the water pipe via a hose system. And the water pressure will go after you changed it. And when we took it all apart again, come to find out that the Sierra impeller is different than the Mercury impeller.
Oh, well,
It's a little bit stiffer. And instead of, it's supposed to be about 33 pounds of pressure at cruising speed, it was only at 20, which is usually when I would change the impeller.
Yeah.
So, just a heads up. That
So that's not-
if you wouldn't have a pressure gauge on your raw water side, you would never know.
Is that on the Alpha one?
No, that's not a steady word.
Yeah,
No.
he's a closed loop system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, you're talking about the pump on side.
The pump that sucks the water up to the.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, for the heat exchanger.
Yep.
You never know. You find it works.
Yeah.
Is that on the new word?
Yeah, I know.
I don't need a word Dale on.
Yeah. All right, Ted. They cleaned house. They had a good year, not only with us, but just about everything they touched.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, are these?
That actually was last year.
Oh, was that? Oh,
Picture of the team. and
yeah.
we thought that was a pretty cool picture, so.
Here, this left and right, the buttons and middle buttons laser if you want to point. You can stand whatever you want, but if you, I got cameras facing that side for the people, and then the screen's fine.
Yeah, this is a shot from last year. We had an outstanding year last year with the jackpot and the brawl and the Southwest Challenge Series. So this was we really we really did well. I mean, we thought this year for sure we were going to bomb out, you know, on a lot of things, but we actually did fairly decent as well. So we want to talk, I guess to start out, I want to talk a little bit about the team, because one of the most important things when you're fishing tournaments is having a solid team that pretty much everyone knows what each other is thinking and knows how to do everything on the boat. And I want to recognize James Martin there, because he was one of our crew members. James is, as he said, the fiancé of my niece, Brianna there. And when I met James, the first thing I heard about James from my brother is James is really all about fishing. He's crazy. He loves to fish. He fishes everywhere. But he didn't fish so much really on Lake Michigan, right? And we got him involved. And that's a fun thing to do, is always get other people involved, working, developing your team, which is kind of one of the themes here for us today. So James was on 3 of the 4 jackpot tournaments with us, and brought in a lot of nice fish. So thanks, James. How do you make this thing go forward? Is it this way?
There you go. Right. Yeah. Right.
So when we talk about developing the team, the picture on the left. Now I've been fishing. I guess one thing I wanted to do before we get too deep, just a little bit about myself. I've been fishing Lake Michigan. My father and grandfather got me fishing back in the mid-'70s. And it's like anything else. When you get out there and start fishing, it just seems like when someone starts, they catch a special fish. And that special fish for us was the first trip that my dad took my brother and I out in like 1975. I was like 9 years old. And my brother was 7 years old. And my mother's like, "Are you really going to go out with just the 2 young boys?" And we go out and we catch this 30-pound king. And it was really something that was an imprint in my mind. But anyway, been fishing out there caught it on a number 3 J plug, green top with the low bottom. That's when J plugs were just starting to come out. But anyway, the whole point in that is I've been fishing on Lake Michigan for almost basically 50 years. It's a lot of experience on mainly 3 different boats. I'm an engineer, so I've always analyzed things because we get trained to analyze things. So it's all about details, and these 2 guys over here are the most detail-orientated guys around as well, so we really mesh well. And I want them to talk a little bit about themselves. Dominic?
Yeah, so I want to talk about this picture.
Yeah.
This is Rose Foti. It's Ted's mom, also my lunch lady. And she would ask me fishing reports on Monday mornings. So, and this is the fishing team I was with. That's a good friend of my dad's. His wife. This was 2004.
2005.
And the C-Mate took first place. We took second. Bruce City.
That's the first year we won Bruce City. Bruce City started in 2000. And as you guys know, like real competitive tournament, a lot of boats are in always, and we fished a lot with Dominic and the guy that was running the boat, which is the guy right in the center. He was one of the most fun guys to fish with out there, and tons of stories, always on the radio. But they had a great box of fish, and we just got lucky and had them by about 12 pounds. But it was a great day of fishing for both of us.
Yeah. So I've been fishing like pretty much. I'm going on, started in 1988, so fishing like pretty much every weekend since then. As things progress, I started since I could walk and I fished with both these guys. That's all I know, so.
That's me.
Yeah. So we kind of, the numbers we're definitely all 100 years combined experience. The 3 of us. So then, that was like kind of tournament start, and then, we, in 2010, kind of started doing more travel and doing tournaments, really focusing on, what the tournament calendar was every year, and taking advantage of that, having a great time doing it.
So in 2010, we got more serious, like Dominic was saying, in tournaments. Even though we fished tournaments ever since early 80s, I could think of a big money tournament that I fished in. But 2010, we went down and fished in that Morris tournament for the first time. And that's when we really started lining up tournaments every summer, fishing usually about 7-8 tournaments. And it's gotten more lately here, but anyway, that's a picture of Dominic and I as well. I was going to put another picture of Jake, and he didn't want to put it in this presentation. And I said, well, you can put that one with me holding that 30-pounder on it, and I was going to show this really fun picture of Jake on the same boat, fishing, like catching one of his first fish. So just more pictures. That was the catch Brew City in 2022 when we won the Pro Series.
Is that Jim Stepp?
Jim Stepp he's also fished with us a lot.
Yeah.
We're always looking for guys, you know, because it's us three, and we really like to have four, and we can't fish for five. But Jim, well, one year he didn't even have a boat, but even when he did, we were fishing with some of these just together because we had a lot of fun, and it's all about fun, right? You get out there, and if you have fun, you seem to kind of start doing it more often. So we had a great day that day. That was on the pro side of the Brew City, and then these are just some pictures recently here.
So we touched on the tournament thing. The thing that we have found is, and actually Jim Stepp says it all the time too, if you ever listen to him, is you learn. You learn doing these tournaments, compressing that time and situations and how that league changes, by the hour, by the day, from week to week. And we just really have honed in and enjoyed that the competition, but it's the lake. It's how you beat the lake. So I think that's been a big part of why we love doing it.
Right. And Jim, who's an awesome fisherman, he definitely, I don't think there's a spoon that's been made that Jim doesn't have. So, but we were actually, from the standpoint of flies and using flashers and flies, Dominic, way back for years and years, making all of his own flies. And I think it was a great match because Jim wanted to kind of see, how do these guys catch these fish on flashers and flies? And we're like, how does Jim always catch all these fish on spoons? That's a picture of the Sea-Mate. So that was, we got that.
Yeah, I would say that's Caledonia, Crestview,
Yeah, yes.
Cliffside, Crestview.
Yep, you can see where Jake is. He's typically working the rods. That's not uncommon. It's all about energy. We love to have a lot of energy out there and keep on thinking, what do we do different next? Whether it's delivery system, bait system, or bait program, I should say.
I also am pointing out too, Ted's on the phone.
Yeah,
Which
you got
is
it.
not a work call. That is a definite,
You got it.
where the fish bite.
So that's, I'm really proud of that boat. My dad and I purchased that boat together. And then since I bought him out, he was got older and didn't want to do it in 2015. But we fished with two other boats that, as you guys know, a boat's important, but it's really not a boat. I mean, a boat's a big piece of it if it's depending on conditions. But it really boils down to the team and how you guys think and work together. So, but I'm blessed to be able to fish off of that boat, and we have a lot of fun on that boat. So,
What tech are you running on it? For like fish finder?
oh, Ray Marine,
Ray Marine fish finders?
yep,
Interesting, okay.
front and back. Yep.
And actually, to me, one of the most valuable things, because a lot of times Jake and I are on the on the rods and riggers, but it's having a locator in the back of the boat, like watching that thing, having something there all the time.
Yeah.
For years, it was always communication back and forth at the helm to the back, but now especially, as you're working bottom or structure, having something where you're dialed in exactly what's happening.
So do you guys usually got one person bouncing the bottom, constantly on that rod, on that rigger, making sure you're there all the time?
If we're specifically lake trout fishing, there's a guy who drop that's at the bottom for sure.
Oh, no wonder I didn't catch lake trout. Wow.
All right, so these are the tournaments we fished this year. So actually, this is it was a lighter year. In June, we only fished on the Sea-Mate 3 times, and that was really for that jackpot tournament, which we pre-fished a couple days. And I think we had a bad weather day on that Saturday, and we ended up having the tournament maybe on Sunday. But those were the 3 trips in June. Now, we did fish with Jim once, and I did fish with Steve Rubon Go Devil once as well, because he was looking for some guys. And it's great getting out with other people because you can really see what they're doing and how they do things a little bit different. Pick up on some things. I definitely picked up on some things that Steve does that we didn't do. And it might even just be something small, but it's a convenience thing, that helps you. So, anyway.
So I guess if we kind of jump into like, how we handle pre-fish and, the things leading up to a tournament day. Our big thing is buoys. I mean, I don't know if you guys do
5 hours like that. Every time a couple days.
I would kind of say Jake is like the social media guy in terms of like monitoring things and always being, up to date on reports or anything. And it doesn't matter what port, Michigan or Wisconsin.
Almost to the lake.
So, and when I say buoys, I mean like we can set our pre-fish strategy. I mean, that's really, we start with, we'll talk on the way down to the boat in the morning driving from.
Oh, we'll talk during the week.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, we're thinking right wherever a break is, and obviously that changes throughout the year, but we also are watching definitely conditions during the week, whether just wind. And we all know wind has a big factor, but it's not always. I guess historically we always thought southeast winds warm up water, but not necessarily. Like when you're watching the buoy and the southeast wind, a lot of times it's pulling it down too. So
it depends on what port you're fishing out of.
yes.
And, these last bunch of years, we've fished a lot more in the southern ports versus Milwaukee. The boat's been out of Milwaukee for years and years. So we have found that to be something that we made note of.
Yep. So, just notes here a little bit of like, touching on how that lake has changed and how reports are evolving during the week, because we typically are only pre-fishing maybe 2 days or a day before. We don't fish all week long typically. Consideration, we're already talking runtime, no runtime for the pre-fish, so we can kind of strategize where we're focused on getting to, how far we want to travel. I love it, and to me, pre-fish is all about eliminating dead water. So if we have a slow pre-fish day, that doesn't mean to me like we're gonna have a bad tournament day, because what you've done is you've eliminated, like, well, we have to go there, like no questions asked. And then we definitely are cycling through baits and lures. I don't know if you can even touch on like how much we change lures.
I'm constantly always trying to find different patterns, different presentations, which get different fish into the boat, I guess, different sizes. Some days it seems like they want stuff with dots. Some days they want stripes. Some days they want blues. Some days they want greens. It feels like it's always changing. It's just trying to stay one step ahead. So.
And then we don't always use the fish log sheet, but I will tell you, in terms of the 3 of us talking through what we did during the day, we all can come up with a pretty good, what worked, what didn't work, and putting that into a game plan and strategy on how we execute that.
Jim Stepp says, remember, L doesn't mean losing, it means learning. Congrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any questions at this point? Do we want to make this as interactive as possible?
After fishing the tournament, to go along with how the lake has changed since you were out last, do you typically pre-fish 1 or 2 days before the tournament?
Well, this last year, just as it turned out, in the beginning of the year, the weather was bad, right? Then we had the tournaments were delayed.
So many waves out of the east so often
it actually
this year.
turned out in the jackpot this last year, we only pre-fished 1 tournament, which was the second one, and we pre-fished it 2 days. And that was that big pond brawl, and there was a lot going on that day. So there was a lot of, we wanted to put extra effort into it. Typically, we would fish 1 day. But back to keeping track, as Dominic was saying, just if you go out there and you put together something like during a weekend, we're weekend fishermen, and you're keeping track of the conditions throughout the week to kind of keep track of probably where the fish are going, So that is helpful, very helpful, and it can help you reduce your pre-fish.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have a beginner question, because I was always checking that salmon when I went to Wisconsin buoy 4 or
It must stop or be pulled out of the water at some point.
Yeah.
It is. So I forgot to mention that we had a successful extraction of our buoy, no damage done to it this year. UWM School of Freshwater Sciences is our partner with that, and they gave us, RJ Benswell is not here today, but they primarily communicate with him. They gave us a couple dates and said, if the weather plays out well, we're going to pull it on these days. We are usually welcome to go out with them on the Niske, which is a former Vietnam supply ship boat that they use.
It's long.
It's a long trip. Eight knots from Milwaukee to south of Racine to get it. But yeah, they pulled it out. They had a beautiful glass column day, pulled it out, and so our buoy season's retired for the year.
Can I add one thing to it? Not all of you might not be aware, but our club funds that buoy every year for that data.
Yep.
It runs our club $8,000 a year to pull in, take out,
And maintain.
and maintain it and insure it.
Yep.
So if you know of any business or anyone that would want to make donations, that is our biggest expense to our club. Wow. Okay, so that most people are not aware of that.
No.
And if there's anything that has to be fixed on this thing, it's pricey.
We're the only buoy in the Great Lakes that isn't owned by a public university or municipality for the data buoys.
So any help is appreciated. It helps our budget.
I think we just need that to be, that's the first I've heard that, which is a very key point. I think we gotta make that more public.
Yes.
I wanna say thank you so much for, that's Wisconsin, to put that is such a major tool out there that everyone should be using. It's a game changer.
And what did we spend to put it together with grants, $100-some thousand?
I think it was like 80.
It was like 80 or 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just so you're aware, that's what we got through grants and raising money out of our turn and money
Yeah.
and things that we do.
So I have a suggestion about the money, because I do digital marketing. That thing's online even if it's not in the water. So you can sell that online space. There's guys like me that don't know any better, like, where's the buoy? It says Salmon-A-Rama.
Mhm.
So if there's a way to get a header on there for a company, Credit Marine, whoever it is, that's visibility all year long. I'll be happy to work on that with anybody, because that's what I do, digital marketing.
That's a challenge on that one because that's also registered with the Coast Guard and NOAA. So we can't play around with the name too often. It would have to be something that stayed that way.
Have like a banner for
Yeah, just a header.
Yeah, header, just a header.
Just like advertising on a tent.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Partially sponsored or brought to you by
Yeah.
Marine Trend or whatever it is.
We could definitely do it on our site, probably not the Seagull or the NOAA
That's
sites.
where it's gotta be, 'cause
Sure.
that's where everybody checks.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing
We
is,
can talk with them.
yeah, we're talking about fishing, but how about the safety factor of that thing? I mean,
We know,
we
yeah.
plan our day based on that.
Yeah.
On weekends.
There's actually shipping that relies on that.
Yeah.
But
And it's accurate because we've caught a lot of fish around that thing. And
Yeah.
everything is dialed.
I end up
Aren't
there
they
all
gonna
the
be
time.
taking a
Yeah.
ton of water from
Yeah.
that?
Thank you for picking that spot. You guys
Not
picked a
really.
great spot.
Yeah. That's everybody's freaking out about that thing. It's going to be cycled through.
Okay. I love it. It's in 130 feet of water, and it gives you all the data you need right there. Because
Yep.
the one in Milwaukee, in 60 feet, that's only like part of the.
Tell me if there's it's
You,
cold
you
water
get through
inside.
June. You get through June, and then it's hot.
Yeah. How often are you fishing in 60 feet?
Anytime I see it cold.
Yeah.
Every day.
I got a question for you on your fish log sheet.
Yeah.
And I just thought I'd bring that up.
On your
Thank you.
fish log sheet, the lures that you're getting, that you're
Actually, there's so much information I have on the log sheet about the fish we are getting that we don't get to the ones that we don't get. But between us, we remember what we're using. And we have excellent communication. James, you got anything to add to that? I mean, and we work together, so we between the three of us, one of us, and we don't argue with each other at all. It's really a fun time. So one of us is gonna remember what we did.
Do you do sheets or data entry for your logs?
I did sheets years ago. I got Excel spreadsheets that have every bit of information you want on there. The problem is that it's a chore to keep it all up.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're busy with your business stuff, it's tough. So then we just rely on what we remember.
Okay.
I would like to do what you're talking about. Just quickly data, put it in, and it populates it.
I do have some sheets laying around someplace that are already pre-made up that have a lot.
Yeah, if anyone wants a data log sheet, I'd be happy to share it. I mean, it's in an Excel format, real nice formatted. Happy to share that. All right, delivery system. So in the off season, I have put spreadsheets together of just thinking about the best way to set the boat up, outlining every position, all the downriggers, all the rod holders, and how we normally would set things up. So the point of saying that is, you know, the first thing here we talked about, well, we're running 3 downriggers, a couple dipsies, and 4 long lines. Whether, you know, that's our typical setup. That's our go-to setup in fishing these tournaments because you're working with 9 rods, right? And that's a good way to spread things out. But that's not the only setup that we use. You know, if the fish are deep and you want to get fish in the boat quick, and the fish are aggressive, obviously you want to run 4 downriggers at a minimum. If you can get down there with the currents, if the currents aren't being bad or depending on your setup.
I was going to ask that just how wide's your beam?
11. So the beam's 11.
Yeah, I'd have panic attacks running 4 on. And I've seen you small boaters out there with 4 across the back.
I used to run 5 on mine.
Yeah.
Well, we fish a lot with Jim, and he runs 5.
Oh my
You know,
God.
he's got 5.
Yeah, but an 11-foot beam, I mean, I could see that a little bit more. But even some of these, like you said, you're running like a 9-foot beam, and
But the point is, it's not to say, just say,
oh, okay.
yeah. So yeah. So forget about the downriggers thing.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna set your dipsies up?
Yes.
And how are you gonna really cover the strike zone? You know, you get always be thinking 3D out there. And what is the strike zone? And how do we set up the delivery system and then integrate the bait program? And that's the way I talk about it, to work and basically get as many hits as you can, because it's all about getting hits. The more hits you get, obviously the more opportunities you have. So
How much line do you put on your dipsies? How far back?
how far back? We're gonna target the dipsies on where the break is.
No, I mean, from the dipsy to the.
Oh, we're gonna change those. I have found out over all these years of fishing, if there's a lot of fish around, the fish and they're aggressive, if it's early morning, I'm gonna have shorter leads. You're gonna have fish pound those dipsies. You don't need to have those long leads. But depending on the conditions, you know, you keep track. Are the fish aggressive, or do you need an aggressive setup or a stealthy setup? If you need a stealthy setup, you're gonna lengthen those leads. I think we tied around 25 feet.
How do you deliver your dipsies? Just longer leads? As far as on the dipsy, or are you using the clip-ons,
No.
S-clips, or what?
I've never used those. I've seen some
Okay.
videos on those, but
Yeah,
do they
like
work?
when you have
They
the
work good.
I live off those.
They work
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
they're very
See,
handy.
there's a tip. We could.
Yeah.
I actually use mine with a light bite.
Yeah.
So the line is hanging into the last back portion, where he just hangs the S-clip clean. And it also gets a different attitude on the dipsy
Okay.
with the slide bagger.
Yeah.
With the back light bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I slide a rubber piece on,
Okay.
so when you click the line in there, it doesn't come out of there. It'll stay until you take everything off.
Okay.
So one of the things we talk about all the time, and this may sound absolutely crazy, but dipsies are an attractor as far as we're concerned. So we switch colors. We think that interaction, like the one year where we got beat by a guy in a kayak for Salmon-A-Rama.
Nick's watching the video, by the way.
Great story, and we love it. I mean, there's no issues. Like, we had a great season on everything that year, but
And Jim couldn't say that fast enough. You guys got beat by a guy in a kayak.
yeah. But our best setup was that was green dipsy, shorter lead. 8-foot lead.
Spin dock.
And that thing with this spin doctor was lights out for big fish.
Is it
You
Kevin's
catch a lot of
girlfriend?
Fish, but everyone it caught was a big fish.
Yeah, Kevin's girlfriend.
Kevin's girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Kevin's girlfriend with the bullfrog.
So then we got to a point of running, 2 short, and that was all highlight stuff, not in the dark.
Yeah.
This is during the day. That one was evening for the big fish, but yeah. So we really, I think if we're gonna fault, we might fault more on the short side than the long side, actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. And also turbulence, the bigger dipsies.
Dipsy gives it
Yep.
turbulence. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to use the bigger dipsies typically. I mean, they're just more stable down there too. I mean, the only time we're using small dipsies is if the fish are way high and you want to get them away from the boat. You know. So we figure out kind of the most effective delivery system, and then talk a lot about baits. And Jake's going to talk more in the second part of this presentation. But talk a little bit about assembling baits.
For the baits, we never really run the same one singular bait. Typically run like variations of it. So like if we get a bite on like, you know, something like this right here, maybe we go to a green blade with 3 dots. But we're never running the same of one. We're always trying to diversify our spread. And we're always trying to find different baits that are going to produce big fish bites for us. Especially for the 5-fish tournaments. We're not necessarily looking to catch 20 or 30 fish. We're just looking for, 8 to 10 bites, and if we catch 5 of them, there would be 5 of the right fish. So
that's a very key point that Jake just made, because I mean, if you want to get a lot of fish in your boat, you're going to lean more towards a bait set. And if you talk to charters or fish with them, they run a lot of bait sets. If they find something's working, they're going to continue to add more of the same exact thing out. So one thing we've talked about is, and we really gonna have to equip ourselves at least with a few things. Pick 5 baits that work, and maybe you need to have 6 or 7 of those 5 baits if you're trying to really pound fish. And sometimes, even if you're not, that is very effective, in getting fish in. But our approach, since we're just tournament fishing typically, is variety. We really look at different size baits. There might be, and I'm talking spoons, there might be a modified one in there. There's going to be some UV, some non-UV or RV. There's going to be some glow, early in the day and so forth.
So you talked about diversifying, but playing off the baits. You've got 4 long lines out, and say thermocline's at 50, and you're hitting fish. Are you putting all 4 trying to hit that same depth, or are you also even though you've got a hot depth, you're still spreading above and below it with those long lines?
I would say above and below for sure.
Okay.
Especially to start the morning.
So you're not going to put out 4 that are almost identical?
To start the morning, like Jake said, we're going to spread it out because
Okay.
we don't know where those fish are. Even if we did well, we're going to use a little bit of what we learned if there was a pre-fish, but don't get locked into just what you did on pre-fish because things change quick out there. So you want to keep as much in your delivery system as many variations as you can, and then in your bait setups, we really make sure that we never run 2 of one thing, and we're always trying to dial in what's going to work. So you only got 9 rods, so you got 9 options.
When you're
I found too that you have to watch if you pull an productive bait, you can actually lose your.
Shuts down.
Yeah.
It could be the attention getter.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
that's a very key.
And we run baits just for the attention getter in some cases.
Yeah.
Even if it's not getting hit, like an 11-inch paddle, 100 feet down in 150 feet of water, just there. So even if it's not getting bit, we're thinking about that all the time. If we talk about the long lines, we're usually always running combination, copper on one side and lead core on another. And that's almost a start every day. The action of lead core versus copper is different. Current conditions can change and how they affect those. And we've just seen too many times where if you load up on one way or the other, all of a sudden it's like, well, the boards are dead. What's going on? So, if you back to that boat picture, I feel like it's another great picture for the reason of it's all 4 of us sitting there talking together and thinking it through. All right, we haven't been bit in 20 minutes. What's changed? What's different? What do we have to do? What do we have to think about? And it's all of us thinking it through, talking it through.
You when you talk pre-fishing, you said you're an engineer. So are you taking off Fridays to pre-fish, or how are you playing that out?
Well, luckily now I own my own business.
Oh, that
I have
helps.
more flexibility.
Boss is a real jerk.
So yeah.
Okay.
So in the summer we do that, and Dominic's pretty good with having some flexibility as well. Jake's one of the best. But now he's started. By the way, he's just going to graduate. Tomorrow's his last test for getting his electrician school.
Electrician school.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats!
Now we're worried. Now we're really worried about next year.
So what are your day jobs? And obviously, you're an engineer, your own company, you're self-employed.
So I work for Sherwin-Williams, that's opening sales.
Okay.
I'm gonna be an electrician.
Yeah.
How old are you, Jake?
I'm 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I start working in like 2 weeks.
Settle down.
For who?
No, I was curious. I was little, I'm
What?
like, how many years is it? Hey, now.
Okay.
Some kidding here.
We're counting a solid 10 out of that.
I got a question on your boards. For early morning to later in the day, do you pre-set up lines for the change if possibly that the sun's getting higher?
Yeah.
And you have other rods already ready to progress into the other part of the day?
Yes.
And how much of a change is it to you guys if you do pre-set up?
How much of a change? I mean,
Yeah,
if
from long
we're
lines,
thinking, like as an example, if we're thinking to start out, you know what, we're going to check the bite in 60 to 70 feet, right? So we're going to have some of our coppers or leads that are going to be in the depth and spread that are going to be good for that depth.
Okay.
And then we may move out to 100 to 120 feet or something
So
like
you
that.
have a plan
We're
already.
typically not going to fish real deep water. There's only one tournament, and we were fishing down with Jim Stepp, Salmon Unlimited, and we went down to 15, leaving out of Winthrop, and fishing the tournament that they had down there. To no man's land in 290 feet of water, and I thought, are we nuts? What are we doing? You know, we're going down there with Jim Stepp, and he loses everything. He lost all his electronics on the way down. He said, Ted, I lost everything. Can you help us find our spot? I'm like, okay, great. But anyway, my point is we're not typically fishing in that real deep water because, as you guys all know, it's either feast or famine out there.
You're pretty set up for a depth change right away in the morning already?
Yeah.
So for that hop, are you pulling lines in out of 60, or are you just pushing out trolling?
It depends on where we're fishing. If we're if we're fishing, like right off the hill.
Then you can
60,
shift it.
you can shift out. But if you're, sometimes out of Milwaukee, it takes forever in the south side of Milwaukee to get from 60 feet or out to 120.
Well, that's Racine.
Yeah. Racine.
Milwaukee,
right
you go.
Right outside of Racine.
It's like
It takes longer in Racine, I think.
Yeah. Milwaukee, you go 2 miles northeast. I'm like, I'm in 150. What the?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I want to build off of a conversation I got to fish with you and Rupa for Kenosha Classic, and one of the conversations that I got to listen into was the importance of your lines towing straight back.
Yeah.
So with that, this year in particular, I noticed the currents from 50 feet was completely different than 100 feet down. How do you prioritize which way you're trolling, whether you're in the trough, against the waves, with the waves, the way your lines are running? How do you guys work that?
To start out, we're typically checking that buoy, and where's the current flow? The buoy tells you. And from there, we like to troll into the current if at all possible. And sometimes that's not going to be possible. And sometimes it doesn't work as well as going with the current, So I will say this, just going straight for a long period of time is probably a bad thing, unless you're getting bit. Because you want to be turning your direction, even if it's just zigzagging. You want to be turning and making those turns. It helps you with speed and with the presentation, because the things you don't know, like you said, is the current down there affecting how this whole bait program looks, So it's a it's a little bit of go with one approach, and then like a lot of people do, if it's not working, 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees.
I was just going to ask, plus 10 minus 10 or plus 1 minus 1?
Well, am I going north or going south? Am I going in, going out?
Yeah.
It just depends on where you are and kind of.
But you'll hit the jumps on 10 degree versus more subtle?
I used to have the jumps, but now I got the dial.
Oh.
I know we got some newer guys in the club.
Yeah.
And I remember our conversation, we were real slow, and we're like, it was very important to make sure your lines are straight back, make sure your lines are working properly.
But I'd like to add to that. I use sea anchors on my boat a lot.
Yep.
I don't know how many people do or don't. I'll give credit that I noticed something about the last jackpot. A lot of people struggled. We happened to troll into the wind with 2 bags in. We cranked up the throttle and just to lock that front end down going into the waves, and it was more consistent.
Yep.
And that's why we started getting bit, I feel. And plus, we first went to the wrong depth, but after we realized that it was a mistake, we knew where we had to go. But that in and out with 2 bags in was a game breaker for that day. That got us a second, by hands down, I think.
That's a
And,
great
and then the other thing is about the lines shifting in the boat. I'll use one bag, usually on the windward side, to keep that boat from sliding. And
Crabbing.
what it does is it relaxes all them lines for people that have never ran bags. If you haven't, I would get it or I'd throw buckets in, because that's how I started, with 5-gallon buckets on each side.
That might,
It gives you tremendous boat control.
a bucket, depending on your size boat, may be all you need.
Yeah.
But definitely, we improved all the different things we talk about every year. We didn't have bags until what year did we get them up to? What, 2015, 16?
I would say what really changed my perspective on how the boat functions with the rods set up is working the bottom of the lake trout. So the simple one is one rigger, whether, let's just call it center rigger, but how that thing is angled and how it bounces the bottom will tell you exactly what's happening to your boat. If you're sliding a little bit, it might, it's just gonna act differently. And when you're keyed in on a lake trout bite and how that thing is acting, like you can almost predict when you're gonna get bit. Now you throw dipsies in there that are bouncing the bottom to learn how your boat's functioning. It is like another game changer, because that slide, like you mentioned, you could have one dipsy that won't get bit for miles, and the other one's going nonstop. And it's all about that angle and how that thing is taking the bottom.
Yep.
So I kind of find it like it's almost like you're trolling, but it's like walleye. Guys that are walleye jig fishermen. I mean, you got to have like perfect detail, and that's how that lake trout thing with dipsies is too.
Well, one of our guys online asked, when you're running, and this might be a nice transition into your gear, but when you're running your 11-inch paddle on your deep rigger, how far behind the ball are you running that, and how long is your leader length on an 11-inch paddle?
Best answer is it depends. No, I would say it depends on how we're, so are we fishing with one rod for trout, or are we fishing with more than one rod for trout? Are we fishing in like 100 or less, where you can effectively catch fish off dipsies on the bottom? And that will depend. If we are, I'm running it shorter. If we're not, I'm running it longer.
Hilarious. They have watching and measure.
3
One
1/3.
was
Well, I think he's talking about the lead
less
length
than 3.
behind. You're talking about the lead length behind?
They asked both. They
Oh,
asked for
okay.
lead length behind the downrigger ball,
So if
and then
it's-
also the length of the
So
leader,
if you're
which
running normal speeds,
yeah.
and you're trying to catch silverfish along and trying to get a bonus lake trout at the same time, run them longer. Okay? When I say by longer, we're running on.
3 1/3.
No, I'm talking about behind the ball.
Oh, behind the ball. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're probably gonna run it 25 to 35.
I was gonna say 15 to 30.
But I mean, what's the longest we run it? So when you're running it longer,
I would say 35.
it's gonna be 30, 35. When we're running it shorter, it's gonna be 10 to 15. And then we don't change the length behind the flasher that much, because we're changing our speed.
Yeah.
And with this boat, it really runs. It's a beautiful fishing machine. Because I actually got valves in there too, on the trannies. So not only do I have the banks to slow us down, if I don't like the speed, I can just pull the valve
Bypass. Yeah.
and we can dial in any speed you want. And where that really comes into handy is when you're trying to catch fish, you get a fish on, then that comes in hand. That's really handy.
Three different rigs, 3 different
I
sizes.
found a problem, Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5.
It's 33 inches.
Yep.
Okay.
That was 3.
And if someone was going to ask me, I'd say 39.
Well,
Because these are,
one of the others was almost 4 lengths.
That's almost 4 is the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 or better.
Those 2 are similar, but
But I'll tell you what,
That one you probably had a nick in it.
It is a- it is-
I would say
it is-
39 inches is where we're typically running it, but that was the question.
yeah.
For lake trout.
yeah, that's well, it could be for change.
Yeah,
too.
or for change. Yeah.
But the thing about it is if that's not working, change it up.
Sure.
That other one got there because probably we needed to do something
It,
different.
it looks like you have a favorite spinning glow.
Well,
Jen-
we use, I'm gonna tell you what we use, yeah, we like the Lucky Charms, but we also like those, what's the one with the,
That's that Jaws. The Jaws.
the Jaws, but, okay, yeah, that's a Jaws fly there, yes.
That's the
But the
Jaws.
white and, green works well. But I'm fishing with Steve, and he's fishing with these odd colors, you know, he's got blues, silvers and blues. I don't know how much it matters.
That was a
It
great.
doesn't, they
Hey.
put some front of Honey Lake or.
Yeah, lake trout, you can find rocks in the stomachs.
We actually had a lake trout we caught this year. It spit a rock on the deck when it came in. I couldn't believe it.
So what speed are you, if you're just strictly lake trout fishing?
If we're
Not silver.
okay, so
strictly lake.
if we're strictly fishing lake trout, I'm gonna run 1.7 to 1.8 on a depth rate,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna say is gonna be about 2.0 to 2.1 on a fish hook.
Yeah. So now, what if you're doing your laker, but you're trying to catch silver?
We're gonna run 2.1 to 2.3, somewhere in the low twos.
So now, speed just trying to catch silvers.
It's the same.
2, 3, that's it?
That's it. I mean, we'll go faster if we have to. But, yeah, but I'm talking 2.3 on a depth rater.
I got
If you're gonna look at a fish hawk, you're looking at more like 2.7, 2.8 or
But you
9.
typically run all flashes with fire, right? You're not a big speed.
No, we run everything.
So you run.
Absolutely.
You run
We try to
flashes,
use what the fish want that day.
To be clear,
You're running a big mixture at 2, 3.
Absolutely.
to be clear on a depth rater, you can actually pull your probe up to just below the water line, and then go in and adjust it
Yeah.
to match the speed with your fish finder. There's
That
a
would screw me up totally if I did.
well, and
You're
I,
used to it.
a lot of guys in Michigan, they comment about that between like the
Oh, no,
even
that's a great point.
even fish hawk to fish hawk or depth rater to fish hawk. You could have 3 boats right next to each other, and those probes are not, if they're not calibrated correctly,
Yeah.
you could be 2, 3, 4 tenths of a mile per hour off. And so they always recommend you pull it up, do the calibration to your GPS, and then start using it.
Yeah, no, that's a great
But
point.
you'd react if we calibrated the mind.
Yeah, if you do that,
For you,
if
yeah.
you do that right away when you buy it, that's probably the time to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise-
So Dan, back to that question though, like, I would say, if we're running blades, plastic, we'll stick more around 2.0, 2.2. But if we put metal Dodgers in, like, then we're definitely going,
Yeah.
1.6, 1.8.
If we're
1.8
talking about
usually.
trout, yeah.
Yep. So I would say that would determine if we're slower or not, typically. Our goal is to try to get lake trout and silverfish same time.
Your dip seeds, you guys run clear ones and black ones, or you guys do colorful?
We got everything. Not so much black. I think we got one black one on the boat. We like green. We like clear. We like UV. We like white.
PV tape on it.
Crushed up ice,
We would PV tape on it.
Which one?
crushed ice.
Crushed ice.
Yep.
Yep. The standard orange. You know. We got a box of way too many gypsies, and so. If you're talking to the charter guys, they're running clears.
I don't want the charters, they're all for little fishing more.
They're running.
Less big ones, that's
There's-
what I want.
There's more people I think that like to run clears.
That's I run clear and black,
Yeah.
but I fish shallow water a lot.
Yeah.
I think it spooks them more than the shallow water, that's why I run.
The clear does, or?
No,
Oh,
the bright colors.
the bright colors, okay, I got you. All right, anything else? All right, tournament day.
Alright, so for the tournament day, we were always looking at our temperatures and then the wind changes, how that's changed from the previous pre-pitch day. So we're always paying attention to that. And one thing that we've really started to do a lot lately is we started a little bit inside of where we want to be for our target depth. And we just think we don't want to overshoot the fish right away. And it's easier to eliminate going from inside to outside than it is to start too deep and have to come back in shallower.
And fish, as we all know, come in at night. When it's low light, they move in, and they come up. So you're better off starting shallower than deeper at the beginning of the day.
And then like we mentioned earlier, just diversify your baits and presentations. And then every day is just going to be different. So you just have to adjust to what they're biting on. And then for the tournaments, we always turn on good fish, markings, like if we're marking stuff on the graph, or if we get a couple good bites out of the set. And use your network, talk to people, one thing is do not hesitate to pick up and reset. We did that a couple times for the tournaments this year. We got great success doing that, and it just helps you get to a different water column, different area, and a different, different everything really.
Did you pick up and reset at your start position and do the same troll?
We've
Or
done
did you
both.
go somewhere else?
We've done both. Where
Both.
I would say for the fourth and final tournament, we went from wind point all the way to off the weather boom. And we completely adjusted from fishing like 70 to 80 foot of water to fishing 200 to 250 feet of water.
Yeah, I was amazed when you said you went that direction and it wasn't as wavy to the south.
Yeah.
And it was hell up by the point. But
Oh, it was terrible.
We figured them out.
Yeah.
But it was
You
bad.
guys fished a little bit further north,
North.
than where
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you said that went to the south and got better, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And you were actually fishing deeper than us.
Yeah, it was definitely nowhere near the current down south.
Yeah.
That current works with that
That
point.
that point is
Yeah.
amazing what you get into on accident.
I was halfway to the park, man.
Just one thing on that water clear, I just gotta tell you a quick story, not this last year, but a couple years ago, fishing, I think this is 2003, fishing Brew City, pros side, and it was a tough day. We were fishing up north of Milwaukee, and I think we had 7 fish.
7 fish. in
Decent,
like an hour and a
decent
half.
fish, and we're like, crap, this is not looking good. We need 10 fish in that tournament. And we picked up and moved back closer to Milwaukee, and we worked, it just so happened, because we noticed on the way out, there was some cold water in there, hanging around. But we weren't gonna change our game plan at the time. But we came back there, and we worked a line outside of the North Gap and pulled 6 or 7 fish in a matter of about an hour and 15 minutes, and just finished the box off real nice. But it was, my point is we worked a line that's an edge, I call it, between the water clarity edge and the current. You could just follow it, and I was working the boat so that one side was in this side of the line, and this is the other side, and we had double and triple. It's about boat control. It's about boat control.
And we actually thought, I mean, that was like the last ditch effort. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought,
like,
this is it.
oh, we're in trouble. We gotta, it's the first day of the tournament, and it turns out we were in third place.
Yeah.
Coming out of it. But I tell you what, it's all only because of just sheer effort and just always staying on it and talking about what we're gonna do different.
Yeah.
And having Jim on board. Jim, are you still listening? All right.
6 on, I can't tell who they are. I can see some names, but I don't know who's dropped off and who stayed on. So we'll see if Jim responds.
As far as the first jackpot year, I think that was what, May 15th?
May 18th.
May 18th. So we fished north of Lynn Point, about 50 to 70 feet of water. We kind of went with the hybrid setup of 1 rod down for trout and all other 8 rods kind of for kings. We knew that there were some kings hanging around the point and, our plant right around there. And fishing was phenomenal. Just outstanding. I think we caught, 25, 30 fish. But we had to really pick through them. And we were fortunate enough to get 3 kings, 2 nice trout. Not monsters by any means, but they were all 8 to 12 pounders, which for that early in the season it was pretty good. We had 51 pounds of live fish.
So if you guys remember that first tournament, there was a lot of boats that were real tight in their weight, at the top. I think within a pound,
Yeah.
there were the top 3 boats. And I think we were maybe in 3rd place on that first one. Or something, maybe second place. Second place, I think 3rd place in the ball that day. But it was a tough day of fishing, and it just keep on working at it and kind of figure it out. We kept on catching lake trout, and they all were 12, 13. Maybe you may have one that was 14 that we weighed in. But we couldn't find the bigger trout. And pretty much this whole year was different for us, where we did not find the bigger trout like we had been finding in a bunch of years before that. I think we caught one trout, maybe it was 18 or 19 pounds all year.
And back to that first tournament, so that's, second week in May. We always that's a tough time of year to fish because the fish are scattered, they don't really hold anything. Like, I don't remember the exact starting setup, but, I wouldn't surprise me if we were running a 4 to 6 lead core and then, so we're in 50 to 70, maybe a 1 150 copper and a 225 or 250, something like that. We are spread out all over the place, just trying to figure something out. And it's just a matter of getting the right bites. You know, lake trout are a little bit easier at that point to target, but
Well, I can remember distinctly, there was a spot where there was some lake trout hanging. And I typically am the guy running the boat, driving the boat. These guys catch the fish. But, and they're both really good at it, so it's great. But,
Jim responded, charter boat special.
it was
Yeah.
the day charter boat special.
Yeah, but I was spinning.
He said that
and
was the
those-
best.
And those trout were in, just kind of in a spot on some rocks, you know. You gotta keep track of the bottom, by the way. Because sometimes if you notice that those fish are on a hard bottom, you know, try to stay on that hard bottom. And they were that day in about 70 feet.
Charter boat special is a stubby silver with white flag. So
It definitely works really well down south. Jim's the guy that
it's great.
brought that idea on, but it works. It works up by our waters up here in Messina and Milwaukee too.
How fast do you run with the stubby?
That
Did
one
I
we're
just
actually
miss
running
that?
that as normal time.
No. It's
2022.
yeah.
On that one we were running 2022.
Okay.
Yep. But that thing works for whatever reason. High sun,
Is that a 3-inch fly?
3-inch flag, the Howie white.
Okay.
Yep. So we actually had a tournament where we went down to Waukegan and won big pond balls, and it was the fish were there. Like there were kings in there and browns in there, and they just shut off. And it was like, well, what do we run? The sun's up, and it's towards the end of the morning or the day. And I threw that thing on a dipsy, and wham! That thing immediately with a nice catch.
Well, it's experience, guys. I mean, it's really just keeping track
Modern
of the
trash
baits,
can.
what's worked year, you know, because sometimes in these free fishes, like I said, 3 of the tournaments we need pre-fish, you know. So it's then just drawn back on your experience and what worked in those conditions. So. All right, so this is what worked in that
Yeah,
first
we did the
tournament.
hot baits. We had the chrome dragons there on the left, the 100-foot front. We were on 26-inch 5 beats on all our feet flashers, not the 11-inch flashers. That's the blinky. It's the setup right over here.
11-inch.
Got a white opposite side, or what's the flip side?
No, it's chrome, double chrome, yeah.
Double chrome, okay.
You know, and UV blue dolphin, stingray size. That was good for.
But it was a gold blank, not a silver.
Yeah, gold one. Yeah, yep. Stingray size. All right, so jackpot number 2. That's going to be what, June 8th, June 9th?
Yep.
Somewhere around there.
We got to really go for it this time, Jake. You know, we gotta do well. Dominic, Jake.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna fish twice. You know, we're gonna do two pre-fish days.
We had pretty good pre-fishing. We found some kings from the red cans off of point, and we felt pretty confident going into tournament day. Where you can never feel confident going to tournament day, really, because we found those kings, we found some really nice trout on the pre-fish, and then we went up there and we absolutely bombed it. Did really, really terrible. We didn't lose any big fish, but just could not. Fish were scattered and we couldn't get out of good bite at all. So it's not good.
So this one, even though there was 2 pre-fish days, there were Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, Saturday nobody could fish. The tournament was pushed, I think, to Sunday. Was that the situation?
Yeah, I think so.
So the fish moved. Any questions?
When that day you pre-fished, where you did bad on the day of the tournament, did you notice any weather change between those 2 days?
Well, yeah, there was a weather change in between the 2 days. That Saturday. we
Big
didn't
blow.
fish.
Got windy.
Yep, big blow.
So there was a big weather change there, and to be frank, we didn't find the fish real well even on the pre-fish days. I think we only had 1 decent king and then some average 2-year-old kings. So we weren't, you know, and our trout weren't real big. I think we spent too much time on trout, not enough time on silver, because we didn't have any confidence in getting the kings, and we're just trying to edge up on finding bigger trout. And it really never. I mean, it wasn't a.
That ate your time up.
Yeah, ate our time up, and it ended up. I don't know. We fell way down on the list on that second tournament. We dropped that one, and I think in the big pond brawl that day, because that was a double up tournament, we were 17th or 18th out of whatever there was, 35, 40 boats or whatever it was. So. I was gonna say, what did you, did someone do good that day? Anyone that showed up here?
I don't know.
Because to this day, I still don't know where the fish were that day, but the people found them.
So I will tell you, like, just, we're looking at, we had a tough day here,
I didn't do well.
but we learned over time, on a tournament day, you do not give up until you literally have minutes to get back to the game. You don't give up, because a 5-fish tournament, it could change in 10 minutes. And it's happened to us. And we're fishing that thing right to the last minute. I mean, we can tell you story after story of that. So, I think it's a key point.
Well, this was one of our real fun tournaments.
This was jackpot number 3.
James was on the boat this day too.
I think it was August 17th or 18th, somewhere around there.
That's why you did good.
Yeah.
And we did not fruit fish this morning, but we did get some intel that there were some kings around, 80 to 100 feet of water on the line. So we set up there, and on our first pass, we had 7 or 8 fish in the first hour. 2 or 3 of our layer fish. It was just
That's phenomenal numbers.
just phenomenal fishing. But the white Megatron bullfrog was by far our best day. And I would, this one right here.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see it maybe in the next page.
So
In fact, it was good enough, we only had one, so Jake's
I got
already
the
stocked us
phone,
up for
not
next
the
year.
So one thing I do remember about this day is that it was all flashers and flies for the first 2 hours, I would say, and they went completely dead. So going back to making adjustments on tournament day, I remember we swapped everything out for flasher flies. So in the middle of the day, we were able to pick, I think, 2 or 3 other nice kings right at the end on these Michigan Stinger, these blue trends.
So one of the big ones that was a good one. Another one was a burnt Wonder Bread. I never ran one until that day.
That one was hot, man.
Yeah, it did well for us this year.
That burnt Wonder Bread got that 19-pound fish that we won the whole biggest fish of this series, I believe.
But we were catching our fish in the warm water too. I do want to say that. Our higher toppers were by far the best. 200 copper, spring break was down 60 to 70 feet, and we were getting those fish down 40 to 50. So they were coming up into that warm water.
I say that day was a little bit rougher too, because if I remember right,
Yep.
you guys were able to troll, and I had to run, pull lines, come all the way back,
Yeah.
and we would kind of go past you guys, pull
Yeah.
lines, and come back. We lost so much time in the water.
I love my boat. These guys love fishing on it. We make a great team, and because if you got a couple of bags, and did I run it 2 bags that day, Jay?
Yeah, 2 bags. I remember I had to walk around.
2 bags and about 10,000 more pounds.
2 bags, that, exactly like you said, the 2 bags are gonna steady the boat some, and they give you more propulsion, and really help
It just
your direction.
makes the boat maintain one speed, and then you just gotta find what they want.
Right. It just kind of helps it hold it steady. So anyway, that was the catch, right there. There's James on the right.
Good net man.
So there was the hot baits there.
There we go. There's your Megatron.
Yeah, the Five Eyes was one of the best ones that day,
Five Eyes.
especially in the morning.
Yep.
And then, Mongolian beef. Mongolian beef got hot towards the end of the year.
All right, so jackpot number 4. That was the first weekend in September, I believe. So we started out right in front of the pier head, kind of thinking that the Kings was slid in there because the water cooled off a little bit. I think it was like 64, 65 degrees in there. And we got the fish with the first 3 rods in the water, and we're like, all right, it's going to be really good fishing. It's going to be, we're just like,
And
And you remember what bait that came on?
yeah, it came on this one right here, this Easter egg.
And that Easter egg was, I was talking, Dominic wasn't able to, he had a trip planned to go up to Door County. But he wasn't on board for that tournament, and him and I were talking the day before, because we always talk. And he actually brought up the Easter egg. I said, yeah, exactly. We've got to try that Easter egg. Because that Easter egg for years has been a good bait. That orange
The
Easter egg.
green one's good too.
The green ones too. So Jake says, what? but somehow I got it on the rod and we got it down there, because that doesn't always happen.
But it's with a gold link on it?
No,
No, it's
Just
blow.
blow on the back, yeah.
Oh, blow back, yeah.
But yeah, this thing, I mean, it's like typically for kings in type by the harbor mouth, I mean, it's usually good for fishing.
If you ever find fish landers in a rummage sale, buy them. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we still have some in the package.
I got 7 of that one and 9 of the other one, the green one.
No longer made?
Yeah, from Fishlander.
Yeah. So, so anyway, so we got the one fish, and we picked up, and we worked it till 7:30. So I think we started at 6 that day? So 6 to 7:30 from that harbor, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Jake, did we miss much?
Nope, no, we didn't see anybody netting fish.
Didn't see anybody net fish, we pulled that one nice king of low teens, you know, and finally said,
They were there the night before.
Yeah, they were
There's a
there.
full moon the night before too.
They were there the night before strong.
And during the night, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
during the night.
That's what hurt us all that day. Keep track of where that moon is.
Yep.
They went up into the river that morning,
Yeah.
because I had a guy jigging and he called me and said, don't go there.
Yeah. So anyway, so at 7:30 we picked up, and where were we gonna go? We didn't pre-fish, so well, let's go back out where we fished in the Jackpot 3. You know, let's give it a shot out there. And I heard how rough it was.
Oh, what fun.
It's so.
Yeah. Well, we went out there, and we set up basically in 80 feet, I think. So yeah, 80 to 110, made a pass out, nothing. So that's it. We're not marking anything. Come back in. It was, not only was it raw, it was one of those washboard days. I hate those days.
Yes.
Because the wind comes, it's not just the waves from one direction.
Two-way.
They're all over the place. And then the current was terrible. So I spun back in, and we ended up getting a fish finally to hit, and that was on a copper, deep copper. It turned out to be a nice goal.
Did you troll in or did you pull
No, I
lines
trolled
and
in.
come in?
We trolled, we went the same thing, started 60, went to 120 without a fish. We pulled 2 fish right off the bat in 60, got one and lost one.
That was your signal.
And that, you better believe it. And we got out there and I said, nope, and let's run in. Kevin said, let's try 80. And I said, well, let's see what we can do. And then he said, well, throw the 2 bags in and let's crank it up. And it was, Mike, what, we had 3 lines in and we had 2 fish on instantly. But we fished 80 to 60. They were just inside of us, 60 to 40.
No, oh no, we weren't
No.
quite that shallow.
No, but they were just inside, but the waves are so big, we never even seen them in there. I literally did not see their boat.
Yeah.
Once we went a little deeper though, is where we got it.
Yeah.
So we didn't get into 60 or even much at 80 because we started setting 80 and went deep.
Yeah.
So I said, after 45 minutes, I said, that's it, you know, we talked. That's one thing we do. I just don't make decisions on the boat. We talk as a team, and I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we said we're picking up, and we picked up, and where are we gonna go? Well, we haven't fished down here that much, but let's go fish down by that, outside that weather buoy. So sure enough, we went outside that weather buoy, set up in 160. I knew we needed some bites, and we needed to get some lake trout. And that's not the greatest place to fish for lake trout by any means,
No.
but it's not terrible. And in the big pound brawl last year in the final tournament, we won the whole thing by going out there and fishing from that same depth there. So we're going to do that again this year. So we went over there and we pulled 11 fish between 160 and 270. One straight shot out.
Wow.
Pulled those lake trout, pulled those rainbows. We didn't catch any major kings. We may have gotten one small one.
But nice rainbows though.
Nice rainbows.
11-pound rainbows.
I went to 120 and I couldn't take the waves anymore.
But down there, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I know.
It really was. I mean, it got worse as you went out, but not as bad as it was up north. But anyway, we did pull some nicer trout, but not great. 13 pound, 14 pounds.
Yeah.
That was about it. And finally, I said, all right. It doesn't make any sense to keep fishing out here because, yeah, we might catch one more 13 or 14 pound trout. We're only going to wait 2. We got 2 in the boat. Let's pick up. So we picked up and took a 40-minute run in to get back to the harbor. And we made one shot to the north. And by
And
the way,
I just want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
At this point, we only had like 35 pounds or so in the
Oh,
box.
boy.
And
it was low 40s. Because we had 49 total, and we had to get that upgrade. But anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, we knew we needed an upgrade because we were kind of going for the first place, and we knew that what we had just wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Well, we knew we needed. We all know when we're out there, you don't know how much fish you eat, or how much pounds you eat. You're trying to gauge it a little bit, but back to Jake's point, was it enough or wasn't it? We thought for sure we don't have enough. At least not to get over the top for the series for the year, because we had to make up some ground. Coming into that tournament, we were in third place
for the year.
for the year. Yeah, Jack. The other one we were in fifth, got the second. This one we're in third, got the first. But back to Jake's point, needed one more nice fish. And I'll tell you one more thing, trick you guys want to keep in mind is don't forget to troll west. I made one shot to the north, and a lot of times when you troll west, especially early in the year, I don't know what it is, but it's the angle and it's the where the baits, are working. We get hits, especially towards the end of the day. How many times throughout all the years, if it's tight and we need one more fish, we always say, let's take a troll to the west. Take a troll to the west when you're getting towards the end of the day, or even any time. I mean, it's always a good thing too. But we did that, and we came right in north. We found the best cluster of kings, typically I've ever seen. It was more on the north side of the harbor, right on that north side.
Yeah.
And we came right in there, and we don't even know this harbor that well, but just enough time in the last couple, 2-3 years
There's
to
two
fish.
islands there too, underwater.
Yeah, we came straight in there, and bam, we got that. Where did that one come on?
SWR down 8 feet in like 13 feet of water.
There you
so
go.
It was right on the bottom. It was with this 5x spoon right here.
That was it. About a 14-pound king.
Yeah, same size. Right in the last half hour.
That was the 7 pounds you beat me by.
Were you guys there when I was towing two kids on a tow tube with rods?
I think it was after that.
Yeah, it was a little bit after that. You heard about that, yeah.
Captain Sarah from Schools Out came out of the harbor mouth with a charter crew and had to avoid our tube. And she was looking on the side. She saw the picture later in the day and she goes, "That was you!" Yeah, we had to try something different.
So like Jake said, 5 eyes, that NBK is, I mean, that's a standard stud. That's a stud bait. Yeah.
Baits
You
with
gotta have
dots.
both.
Baits with dots. I feel like dots were just really, really staple this year. Any baits that had dots.
All right, we better wrap this up. We're probably taking more time than we should. But anyway, just again, a big shout out to SU Wisconsin for everything you guys do for the fishery, first of all. Obviously, the jackpot tournament
Yeah,
series.
props to the guys who ran Jackpot, by the way. And the whole club operation is unpaid nonprofit, but between Jim with Salmon-A-Rama and these guys with Jackpot, it's a lot of work for us to enjoy those days. So.
Yes.
So, one thing we talked about, but you touched on it for like a brief second about you're always on the phone. When you're in this club, use that to an advantage. Talk to the person next to you, get numbers. It helps in multiple ways. Safety reasons, you break down. One of us is usually out on that lake. Get some phone calls, we'll get you in safe.
Yeah.
But two, networking, hey, I'm on dead water. Not just tournaments now. People are a little tighter lipped with tournaments, but during the regular year, and then once you build that network and they know you're going to give them information when they're bad, the better boats will give you information back.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Come to these meetings, come get to know people next to you, and you build that network, and it'll definitely help because it's helped me. I mean, I met you this year, and it worked out a couple times for me. So,
Right.
It goes both ways. Just remember that.
Just if we're gonna talk out there, make sure I get it ahead of time, so it comes up on my phone, because you get so many spam calls that typically I won't pick those up. But yeah, always open the communication. So again, thanks to the sponsors, and I know there's that's a major
Yep.
effort to get the sponsorship to support these events. So big shout out for that. I really believe that clubs that sponsor tournaments like this, they really help their members become better fishermen, because there's something about fishing these tournaments that you can hone on your skill set. You know, you're focused a little bit more because you want to get fish in the boat and do a good job. And I really believe it helps to become better fishermen when you're competing like this. And it's not like we're competing for big money here. It's significant, but it's not such a big investment that you can't make. You know, it makes it fun too. We just do it for the fun part of it. You want to add some of those?
Yeah, I mean, and I touched on it earlier, but you know, it builds the knowledge base, and you know, I would love at every tournament that there has to be a recap. You know, top 3 boats have to, you know, SU Illinois does a great job of going through after tournament day. That's what gets people engaged, and how you learn, and how you just continue to build on that the knowledge base. Work together to develop a team. We're really fortunate how it's worked out, but Ted owns the boat and the captain, but every decision is made as a team. And I'm talking about, do we get this bait or this bait? And, you know, people that fish with us, James, Dawson, if they're on the boat, they're part of the team. And you're part of the decision making as well. So I think that's
Bring
key.
your hot base.
Yeah, right.
Leave them when you leave.
We do have a scouting report typically before someone comes out. So,
And I always joke with
Tommy
everybody.
had that if you got jaws out on board.
yeah.
I always joke with everybody that there is a non-disclosure agreement you got to sign before you come on.
Yeah.
Don't tell what we did.
So, and then it's also stay open-minded. Like, on a pre-fish day to a tournament day to any day, it's always changing, you know. And like what happened yesterday, you kind of have to forget about something, you know, like, and just think about what's happened in the past and what are you seeing, what are people saying, and you know, Jake. I mean, he's engaged. He's not always on his phone, but we encourage him being on his phone. So, because it's a lot of information day in day out that we're getting. So, yeah. If there's any other questions that anyone has?
Nothing more.
So what do you do if you've got like your crew and 2 individuals go to one spot on pre-fish and they did okay, and then 2 went to a totally different spot and they did okay? Where do you determine to go first thing in the morning?
Well, they're pre-fishing as a team of 4 or a team
Yeah,
of 3.
but if you bring 2 people on board for the day and they all pre-fish the previous day, talk about it the night before. I think the more you communicate and maybe why it was good and when it was good and what the conditions were in that spot and how much different is that spot from the other spot in depth and maybe the currents or time of day, you know, when did the fish hit? When you guys really got your fish that day before, was it later in the day or was it early in the day? I mean, talk it out, I would say, would be one key thing. I mean, we're fortunate. I'm blessed because even with James on the boat too, and he's fishing more and more with our tournaments, we don't argue. We talk it out, and it's fun. You know, I hear plenty of stories where that doesn't happen. You know, and there's people that have difference of opinion, and it gets tough. But if you stay open-minded, back to Dominic's point there, you can get through that. And if you talk early enough, communicate early and often, you know, and really to develop the team, kind of pick your team, and we're in this together. Even though I own the boat, we fish together. The investment for the tournaments is together. So if we bomb, everyone's paying. If we win, everyone's getting the money. You know, we split it up in a good way. And that's the way I've always done it. My mother decided that way back when, how we're going to do it, and it's worked out well. We just go percentage in. If you want to take the expenses at 20%, whatever, 25%, we can split it 4 ways, and then percentage out. 25%, same percent, but the boat always gets 20%.
Yep.
That's the way we do it, and we've done it this way for years. It keeps everybody engaged. So Keeps everybody engaged. Everyone really wants to stay focused on making sure they can do everything they can to get that fish in that they're fighting as it's coming in, which is cool. And we don't get down on each other if something bad happens and you lost a big fish.
Well, maybe a little. I mean, there's
We get mad at ourselves, but we don't like criticize the other person.
right.
Unless we're trying to toughen up Jake a little bit.
If I was just ready, I'd fire myself and go to the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll get the real and fish up there.
Was that a truthful presentation, James? Anything you want to add fishing with us, or?
Your chance to roast them.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Like, I haven't had the opportunity to fish with two charter captains in canals that through work, and none of them like watch fish hog data or anything, and they have very good boat control on the weekend management that goes along with how they're catching some fish. Like, do quality fish. But I think boat control, they have done a good science, and it feels very good.
Yes.
You said pre-fishing from one day to the next. And I ran into this in Super Sweeps one year. That was on Monday. Saturday, Sunday, we were on the Chinooks early in the morning. Chinooks turned down. We told about a half mile further east. We ran into somebody rang a dinner bell. We had 7 rods go off on Saturday. Got 6 of them. They were all cold. Same thing happened Sunday on the Chinooks. They shut down. Well, here's the cold. They're still in the same place. That half mile from where the Chinook were to where the cohorts were, nothing. Got out there just a bit before noon. When somebody rang their dinner bell, 8 rods went off at once. We had rods laying all over the back deck, and we got them all.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this dialed in. We know we're going for super sweet for cash on super sweets in the morning. We get out there, get our lake trout, go to where we're gonna get them Chinooks. Holy crap. 3 cohorts. What the hell happened? Perfectly calm water, just like it was the 2 days previously. We pulled lines and said, why are there cohorts here? Where'd the Chinooks go? One of the guys on the back deck looks up, goes, you know we had a slick 5-mile-an-hour wind from the west overnight. Those are up there. You're here now. That where the Chinooks went? We turned the boat, left everything out of the water, and started trolling east. About 4/10 of a mile before we started putting things in. As I'm looking around from the bridge of what everybody's doing, I see a mass exodus of boats trolling east. And I see one boat going west, south of me. We found the Chinooks. We finished the day with 9 Chinooks, 3 coho, and 8 Chinooks, 3 coho, and 4 lake trout.
Yeah, nice.
The other boat going west was the Phoenix. We figured the same thing we did. We finished with 4 lake trout, 2 coho, and 10 Chinook. Beat us by half.
Thanks, Arnie.
So with that, we could talk some of those tournaments like that, but one thing we've always agreed upon is most tournaments are won, and this is Milwaukee from Washington all the way down to Illinois. I would put money on 80 to 120 feet of water in the stable zone. And if you get inside of that, it's risky business. But they can be there and can leave quickly and they can move north-south quickly. And that 80 to 120, a lot of times pre-fish to tournament day, can be more consistent. You know, if you want to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I totally agree.
And we had one example we had was a SU Illinois tournament where we were coming from Milwaukee down to Winthrop and we fished Wind Point and we pounded like a quad, 3 nice kings, a big coho. Like, well, I guess we got to come here. Well, we went up there the next day for the tournament day. Well, 2 things. Now we got a buoy to watch, so we were watching what that buoy was doing. So that gave us an indicator of if the water was coming in or out. And then the second thing was just monitoring water temperature in the boat. And so we started I don't remember exactly. We started, I think, outside of where we were.
Yeah.
Thinking on that one, we're going to work, if we have to, we'll work in.
Yeah.
And we were working in, we went way in. And it was like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? We hit 45 degrees, bam, we got our King's Wing in. So on that one, like, we're able to use current technology to dictate if we're going to go in or out on that one. You know, and that doesn't always happen. It's not that predictable, but it's something to keep in mind. It's very similar to your.
My point was that we knew where the big fish were, we knew where the small fish were.
Yeah.
We think we got it dialed in, all of a sudden we start getting the small fish. Where did the big fish go? And they're not sticking around with these little fish.
Right.
Which way did they go? So if you have that in your back pocket, okay, I'm fishing here and they were there yesterday, now they're here. And the big fish were here. Okay, small fish came this way, the big fish go that way.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just logical that may as well go that direction and find out.
Right. Yeah, it's trial and error. Let's face it. You don't always have the right answers.
To keep in mind that I was on a big fish. I knew where the big fish were, I knew where the small fish were.
Right.
Not small fish out where I expect the big fish.
So there's one thing in life that's constant, right? I always tell you this,
They're moving.
change, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not working, change. Whether you go in, go out, you gotta change something. Don't just keep on doing the same thing you're doing. So.
If you're find that if you're nailing the shakers, then you're definitely not going to catch the
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're catching shakers, get out of there. Forget about that spot.
Can you leave those spoons out just for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then turn and look the other way. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cleaning our spots. So when you were doing Big Pond Brawl and ours, but you were housing here for fishing, were one of you then bringing a vehicle down?
Oh, yeah.
To shuttle the cooler from Racine?
We got to coordinate the vehicle.
Oh my, yeah, because you got to run it down there, do that, then come back, and then the boat's got to run up to Milwaukee to get home.
It's a lot of coordination. And I live in Fort Wayne. So
You live in Fort Wayne?
I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Hell.
Otherwise, to be honest, I'd be more engaged with the club, but I'm down there. You know, unless it's fishing.
Dale, you got a fellow Hoosier to work with.
Yeah.
Dale just joined the club about a year ago, and he's from Indiana.
So everyone asked me, why don't you just fish there? I could go to St. Joe or whatever else. But guess what? You're not fishing with the number one team.
Yeah, so you know Richard Holmes then, huh?
That get too home.
You know Richard Holmes then from down there, West?
Because I heard of him, but I don't really know him.
All right.
All
So
right,
it doesn't pay for you to fish for that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 tournaments over there?
Oh, fishing, we talked about fishing in those, yeah, in those. But you know what? Time of year, bringing a boat over here,
Yeah, that run.
and then always dealing, we have enough problems dealing with the weather on this side of the world. You know, maybe someday, we always talk about when we get a little bit older and maybe retire. not
Usually
to
what
worry
they do
about
on
stuff.
this side is they put together a really good team and then go over there and get in the amateur side.
We wouldn't do that, you know. Even though we're amateurs.
It's pricey, that's what kind of ran Fishlander out of business, was fishing all them tournaments with two boats.
I'd be interested in making the run across with our boat, but I want to go with a collective of a couple boats. I know there's a group that used to stage up out of Kenosha and went that over for one of the
Try to make
tournaments.
Lily a sandwich, it's a long way on the tube.
I think I'd drive on board the Badger and just take it across.
Well, it's the adventure. It's not so much the fishing for us as it is the adventure. So.
And I didn't say this, I'm not proud of that, but this guy right here, and the bringing youth on your boat, that brings energy, it brings the technology side, he's way better at that. Way better at watching what's going on, who's doing what, and just ideas, I don't know if their brains are fast.
They can just see their phone better.
Better eyesight. site.
And when everybody's tired, he can reel in the 400 pounds and change it.
Yeah.
Hey, grab that 450.
You know, it's funny you say that. That's our Ish rod. If you guys have seen Ish, our friend's son who fishes with us in the tournaments, Ish was so proud to put out the 400. And I'm like, great, you're reeling that sucker in. Well, it's got a 12-pound lake trout dragging on it. Upcoming events reminder this weekend, the Root River Open House. Jeff, again, if you want to help him with making some salmon patties, was it?
Salmon patties on Friday, and I just found out yesterday that I lost my cook for hot dog brats and salmon patties to cook them. If anyone's interested, Saturday. It's coming Saturday.
Let me check after the meeting, but we did issue out a volunteer sign up for the Scouts yesterday at the troop meeting, so we might have some troop members.
I did lose my cook for that.
Okay. What else? Upcoming meetings, the next 3 monthly meetings. Again, next month, really request everybody show up in force for the board elections, and we'll probably have a turkey fundraiser or
Bring a turkey.
yeah, sourcing, we'll say, in time for BOW. November's guest speaker, we have Assistant Chief of Police here in Racine, Rick Toller, who a few of us may know through different means. Jim actually sat with him when he was trying to get representation for our veterans, for the PVA parking lot access for our vets, and ended up talking to Rick. I know Rick through different means too. And he's going to come in and talk about his camp that we have donated through a couple different means to and supported as our speaker next month, as well as just a couple days ago, there's a new Friends of Grant Park, or Bender Park, sorry, Friends of Bender Park group that's been started specifically to stay in touch on the boat launch, and they've got a gentleman coming down to speak to us just with updates on the county's timeline and that expectation. It sounds like that is now fully funded and approved by the county and will be done by spring, if I think you know
Done by June.
Yeah.
Why do they block off the whole parking lot there?
Somebody's got a friend. You're asking the wrong guy, you're gonna be asking that question next
They
meeting.
don't have to follow the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I believe they've done it the last 3 years now. So.
but he'll be down to speak to us next month too with their updates, so. That's it. Thank you all for coming down. Both again, we got strip line raffles in front of Jim and Bradley, and we got a question in the back.
Yeah, usually, for the Weird Day, you said that they have guys down on Friday.
Yes, I don't have the times offhand. If you can call me if you want to help. It's mainly,
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah.
it's mainly they whack the fence posts in and they hang all
Snow fence.
the fencing and other small items, but that's the main thing that they do on Friday.
Okay. Is the DNR doing that? Or
Yeah, DNR.
Okay.
Yep.
They put up the tent.
I'll be there dropping off stuff, so, but.
Getting some raffles. Good spike. All right. Thank you all.
I do have maps and stuff if anyone's interested in data.
Oh.
Prime rib was.
Oh yeah. The Rad Prime Rib event.
Well, when is it? November. All right, we'll check. 'Cause I might want to go.
Yeah, that's all done by sister.
Yeah.
I figured.
It's a Friday. November 15th.
2 minutes later, they're inside the cabin making it.
Like he says,
Where is it?
go to the board, I'm like, I let it go out, and then I get mad about it.
So it's not bad. I'll buy a ticket.
Never, that's what I tell him.
Otherwise, we'll forget.
Thank you.
I'll take care of mine. But he said he was gonna take care of it, that's why I didn't do anything. Okay.
Yeah.
And Dave, I'm gonna drop the fish off.
Someone got mad.
Bring 'em here
Manny
tonight.
just contacted yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
He was supposed to be.
I know. There's this him to Arcade's house or the barn?
You going there anyway, Justin?
I told you would think that. Okay, thank you.
Right, you just had a sniff from gloves, right?
Yeah, both of them. This guy.